Tonight we are following the devastation from what was Hurricane Sally, a storm that has now turned deadly.
Sally now being blamed on one death in Orange Beach. Another person remains missing at this hour. We'll have more on that in a bit. This storm devastating all along the coast. Winds so strong, 18-wheelers knocked over on the Bayway.
Yeah, further down the beach, more jaw-dropping video from Gulf Shores. The Tropic Isle condo was just sliced open like it was cardboard, exposing 5 different rooms.
Our team coverage of reporters all along the Gulf Coast continues tonight from Dauphin Island to Gulf Shores. We will show you the incredible sights and sounds from all over the area tonight.
Let's go now to Mobile, a powerful sight downtown and in Midtown. Several of Mobile's massive trees knocked over onto the road. Also, you can see parts of a hotel that have been blown off. Our team coverage starts with Justin Moore, who is in West Mobile tonight. Justin?
Yeah, I'm in a West Mobile neighborhood tonight, not far from the station, and there's a lot going on here. You have a lot of damage. You have downed trees, even have a tree on top of a car over here. Now, if you cross the street, if you look across the street here, you have a family who is already cleaning up the mess that Sally left behind with some saws. Now, I talked to a lot of people earlier. They told me they are surprised by how many trees were uprooted by this hurricane.
When I passed by the square, I said, oh my God, look at the square.
The damage Hurricane Sally caused at Bienville Square in downtown Mobile left a lot of people speechless.
I never would have thought the square would look like this. I've seen quite a few storms in Mobile, right? I've never seen this amount of trees that were down.
Strong winds and rain uprooting and chopping off oak and magnolia trees at the downtown square. A tree crushed this bench and knocked over this porta potty.
It's pretty scary because you never know when those winds were so horrible.
Sally has come and gone, but definitely leaving her mark on Mobile. Downed trees and power lines found across Midtown and West Mobile.
I'm just amazed at how many trees are just uprooted. I mean, and it's not like they snapped off. They were pulled straight out of the ground.
Samantha Robertson is stuck at home after her neighbor's tree slammed into her driveway, knocking out power and causing a dangerous situation. The windows on this car dealership on Government were blown out by the hurricane, the owner using cars from the lot to shield the building until the glasses are replaced.
Trying to clean up so I can get to my roof to patch a little hole.
We found David HAMIL cleaning up the mess left behind in his yard. The Mobile man says he wasn't expecting this.
I thought as soon as it hit land, it just fall apart.
Now back out here in this West Mobile neighborhood, as you can see, families are starting to clean up the mess Sally left behind. As the clouds start to break, and you can see a little bit of the sun peek through the clouds, so people are out here trying to clean up all this mess that's left behind. Now, in less than an hour, the city's curfew goes into effect at 7 o'clock. That goes until 6 a.m. Now, if you have to be on the roads, please be careful because there are still a lot of power lines and a lot of trees that are down. Live in West Mobile, Justin Moore, NBC 15 News.
Justin, thanks. Down Government Boulevard, this Shell station suffering some major damage. This is the Shell station at Government and Lakeside. This station will not be able to provide much needed fuel to customers for quite some time.
All right, well, check out this video from Loxley this morning. NBC 15's James Gordon captured this huge tree that came tumbling down on a home there. The tree also took down a fence on the way. Now, we hope those folks are okay who were inside. Take
you to Baldwin County now and Loxley's Municipal Park. Some pretty incredible damage there. You can see trees uprooted and the Veterans Memorial covered with standing water today.
Well, let's take a look at video from County Road 83 in South Baldwin County. Water just covered the road this morning. We have several curfews in effect tonight, but if you have to drive, remember, turn around, do not drown. You have no way of knowing how fast that water could be moving.
Now closer to Highway 59 in Gulf Shores, damage to the Comfort Inn and Suites, not visible from the ground, but take a look. The roof completely torn up. Our NBC 15's Corey Pippin is down on the beach tonight. Corey, we learned some news we were dreading. Hurricane Sally now responsible for at least one fatality.
Well, Greg, I just got off the phone with Orange Beach city officials. They confirm one person has died and another person is missing, but no more details are available at this time. Meanwhile, Highway 59 here is still flooded about a mile from the beach. Some vehicles have made it through and people have braved the waters on foot or by boat. But severe damage was not just reserved for the coast. We also saw dangerous conditions in the northern part of Baldwin County. Trees uprooted and thrown onto homes, downed power lines along swamped out roads and flooded yards. These are the conditions in northern Baldwin County left behind in Hurricane Sally's wake.
As much rain as we've had with this storm, that ground's pretty soft, and the wind after it got kicked up and all that stuff, I figured stuff was going to blow over.
Mike PRESTWOOD rode out the storm from his home here in Loxley. Today he's one of many residents cleaning up the damage and debris.
I lost about 3/4 of my privacy fence across the back, and like I said, my 4 pecan trees over on the corner, it just uprooted them. It blew over and it went across it, and it just yanked the whole power lines down.
Loxley town officials blocked off flooded neighborhoods as work crews surveyed dangerous conditions. David Uritsky also hunkered down in his Loxley home during Sally.
Last night was pretty horrific. You know, throughout the night, you could just hear the wind howling, train sounds.
This morning, Uritsky jumped into action clearing roadways of trees. He says others in the area began helping.
Trying to help out the community, you know, cutting these trees down, get them out of the road for everybody to where, you know, people can come in and out, check on their loved ones, stuff like that. Had a big support of people helping out, local people jumping out their cars.
Uritsky says the impact this far inland is surprising and reminds him of Hurricane Ivan.
Even though it was a Category 2, it still did a lot of damage just because I think how slow the storm was moving. But we're going to do what we can to help rebuild the community and do exactly what needs to get done.
And on our way from Loxley to Gulf Shores today, we saw widespread damage throughout Baldwin County. Gulf Shores police say a drone was used to get a first look at the beach, but they're waiting for the waters to completely recede before they'll have a clear idea of exactly how much damage this storm may have caused. Reporting live in Gulf Shores, I'm Corey Pippin, NBC 15 News.
Corey, thank you. Now the hangout is hanging together right now. Here's some drone video from Live Storms Media. Not a lot of outside damage to the main building, but the property has been flooded and sand covers the parking lot.
Take a look at this video of the Walker Cove condos in Orange Beach. Rich Florchick took these shots. You can see boats were tossed around, parts of the marina decimated. Rich says thankfully he didn't have much damage to his property.
A Gulf Shores icon has been ripped apart by what was Hurricane Sally. Look at this incredible drone video from Logan Pool with Live Storms Media. You can see the Gulf State Pier was literally ripped in half. The farthest point on the pier is now an island all to itself, separated from the rest of the walkway.
Oh man. More incredible video from Gulf Shores. Just look at the destruction. Boats littered everywhere, some aground, some upside down, and some parked right next to houses without a trailer. We showed you the terrifying video at the top of this newscast. An 18-wheeler blown over by winds reaching close to 100 miles an hour on the eastbound Bayway. This created quite a mystery for Mobile police. They couldn't find the driver when they arrived to the scene. The windshield was knocked out, and they feared the driver fell into the water. He was missing for a couple of hours. Well, police finally tracked him down through the delivery company he worked for. He is okay tonight.
Across the bay in Dauphin Island, we're seeing a lot of similar damage. Look at these boats stacked up against each other. Our team coverage continues with Laura Barcheski, who is down there right now. Laura, what does it look like there now?
Kim, I'm here on the sound side of Dauphin Island, where residents tell me Hurricane Sally really devastated this part of the island. Take a look at this house here. You can see this garage door was completely ripped off its hinges, pulled out, and even torn in half. Now walking to this side of the house, you can see siding just strewn about, ripped open in this garage area here. And up above it, a window completely blown out by the storm. I don't know what room that is, but you can see just right into it. Lots of debris on the ground in this area. And heading to the back of the house, you can see where the roof was actually torn off, leaving a gaping hole in that part of the roof. Now, the residents who live here said they heeded the warnings of officials and evacuated by the time the storm hit. And there's a lot of siding damage across the entire island. The mayor of Dauphin Island says there is widespread siding damage Take a look at just this wide hole right here. Dauphin Island Marina was also devastated. You can see pieces of the dock just floating in the water. Some have even washed on shore, piled up on the edge. We talked with a resident who says they actually just finished repairing the dock a week ago. This area would normally be full of boats, and a few of them sank during the storm. There was only one boat left standing in the marina. Dauphin Island Mayor Jeff Collier says the other main problem they're dealing with are downed trees covering roads, laying on houses, and crunching power lines.
We were under, hurricane conditions probably at least 10 or maybe even close to 12 hours. And so that is not something you customarily deal with. Normally they're there and kind of gone. So that was the real weird part. Of course, being pitch dark and hearing all the things falling and breaking and carrying on. So you had to wait till sunrise to look out the door to see what you were hearing.
The city of Dauphin Island says they currently don't have a curfew in place, but they want people to stay off the roads, stay out of these areas, because they're trying to get areas clear as well as safe for residents. Reporting live in Dauphin Island, Laura Barcheski, NBC 15 News.
Laura, thanks for your reporting during this storm. There has been a lot of damage all across the island. This is video from Live Storms Media, Aaron Rigby. You can see mobile homes have been torn open and gutted. Some cars flooded out, trees covering the road. The Coast Guard is out tonight, continuing to look for people who remain stranded at this hour.
Well, let's take a live look now at the Bayway. A lot clearer tonight compared to this time last night. Let's bring in the Gulf Coast Chief Meteorologist, Alan Sills. Alan, what can we expect going forward?
Moving forward in the next couple of days, our weather is dramatically improved. Now, no tropical threats in the near term. There is another tropical disturbance way down in the southwestern Gulf, which we'll look at a little bit later. But tomorrow, relatively good weather for cleanup and recovery. Temperatures will start off about 73 degrees at 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll get not much higher than 83, and there will be a few showers, but nothing like we saw today. It's not going to be downpours. It'll be mostly passing light showers. It is now Tropical Storm Sally. Winds are 60 miles an hour. It is east of Evergreen, still moving now northeast at 7 miles an hour. That is the fastest it has moved in 24 hours. And that's one of the reasons why we had to deal with so much storm surge and so much wind and so much rain for so long. Still, tropical storm force winds are likely from Connecticut County southward toward Pensacola and eastward into the Florida Panhandle, and still windy in Evergreen. Tropical storm force winds for the next couple of hours, just easing down to about steady winds at 37 miles an hour by 9 o'clock. They'll still gust 50, maybe 55 miles an hour. And then later tonight, Evergreen, like everyone else, sees an improving picture compared to the winds we had late last night or this morning, well over 100 miles per hour. As far as we can record, that means there are a lot of places that we couldn't record that could have been much higher. Same thing with the rainfall totals. You see 20 inches plus along the coast. Many spots got more than that, and that's why we continue with the flood warnings. It's also why we continue with the river flood warnings. The forecast does get better. I'll have more on that in just a few minutes.
Alan, thanks. Schools making even more scheduling changes after the Gulf Coast was slammed last night and this morning by Hurricane Sally. We're going to walk you through the changes you and your children need to know after the break.
But first, Sally on the other side of the state line, how the hurricane wrecked our neighbors in Florida.